Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
Wow, this Foamstars game really sucks. It's literally just a cheap copy of Splatoon. Now, while this is blatantly obvious to anyone with an IQ above room temperature, some people are very angry that this game is being negatively received. They have been ever since the game was revealed, their reasoning being that Palworld is wildly successful. And how can people support and like Palworld but not Foamstars? Because if Foamstars is just a cheap copy of Splatoon, surely Palworld is just a cheap copy of Pokemon. Wrong! These people we call idiots. These people are clowns. The main difference here being that Palworld is not and isn't trying to be a replacement or an alternative to Pokemon. It's very much so its own thing, where you can also catch monsters. That's the only similarity these two games have, is that you can catch monsters. But Palworld is mostly about base building, gathering resources, exploration, things like that. While Pokemon is just a lot more in line with traditional JRPGs. Foamstars, on the other hand, is just a cheap copy of Splatoon. So, let's talk about why it is a cheap copy of Splatoon. The gameplay, for one, is basically the exact same. I'm not even going to talk about the similarities, because basically the entire gameplay formula is copied from Splatoon. I'm only going to talk about the differences. Foamstars has some weapons and abilities that aren't copied from Splatoon. A lot of them are copied from Splatoon though, but some of them are not. So I guess that's a difference. Then there is the way that you ride the foam. So obviously in both games, in Splatoon you shoot ink and then you can dive in the ink. In Foamstars you surf on the foam with a surfboard. Now the big difference here is that the swimming in ink mechanic in Splatoon allows you to swim up walls, for example, or recharge your weapon. It allows for faster, more unpredictable gameplay because people are constantly swimming out of ink or swimming up walls and shit like that. In Foamstars, it's just a sprint button. It's the exact same as sprint in COD, it just gets you around the map faster and you can't shoot while doing it. That is the only thing that it does. It doesn't allow you to charge your weapon. You charge your weapon by standing on foam and pressing the square button for some reason. It doesn't allow you to go up walls or crazy shit like that. It only allows you to go around the map quicker. That is the difference. Now let's move on to game mode. Game modes, yay! So, Foamstars has 3 multiplayer online game modes, only one of which is copied from Splatoon. Rubber Duck Party is literally just the exact same game mode as Tower Control. The other 2 game modes are at least somewhat original. One of them is kind of just a King of the Hill with teams, but I guess that's fine. But the problem isn't originality, it's the fact that there's only 3 multiplayer game modes. Only 3. When a game like this comes out that is clearly based off a different game, in this game Splatoon, and is trying to compete with it or stand on its own, it needs to come out with enough content and be unique enough. Just look like Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch. When Overwatch came out, it was unique enough on its own that it could compete with TF2. This game can't. It only has 3 game modes. And that's not counting the offline story mode, which I don't count because from what I've seen, every level is just the same wave level. You fight off waves of enemies. And that's about it. And I guess there's a fucking walrus or some shit. That's also not good enough. If you look at the story levels or the offline campaign of Splatoon, it's always a pretty long third-person platformer / shooter with boss battles and a story and whatever. You can't just throw together a cheap fucking wave game mode, call it single-player story mode or whatever, and say I'm done. That's not how it works. You need to actually put some effort into it. Foamstars, simply put, as a game is not original enough to compete with Splatoon. Even looking at the art style, take the art style. So you have Splatoon's art style. There are some things that look similar to it, but there's nothing that's exactly like Splatoon's art style, right? It's unique. There's also just the entire design of the characters, which is genius. It's a humanoid squid creature, I guess, that can turn into a squid. because quits be-inking, I guess. Foamstars art style, on the other hand, just looks like it's saying, I wanna be Fortnite. And that's also a problem Foamstars has. It very much so feels like it was made in order to be popular. Like they made this game specifically just for it to be Splatoon on PlayStation, in the hope that it would be just as popular as real Splatoon. Anyway, I hope I've cleared up why this game is not popular, and nobody really cares about it, and why Palworld is. It's mainly because this game is a very obvious cheap knockoff of Splatoon. It's barely any different. It doesn't even have enough content in order to compete with Splatoon in any way. Like, if this was really going to be Splatoon on PlayStation, at least have like more than 3 multiplayer modes and a somewhat okay offline campaign. Palworld, on the other hand, like I've said earlier on in this video, is very different from Pokemon. It's nowhere near the same. It's even to the point that I think it's closer to survival games than to monster catching games. Like, people who don't like Pokemon, right, but they do like Ark or Rust, can play this game and enjoy it. Palworld is not directly competing with Pokemon. They are nowhere near similar, except for the monster catching mechanic. Foamstars and Splatoon are literally almost identical, except for a couple of details and the fact that Splatoon is just overall better with more content. Yeah, so I hope I managed to clear up the confusion for the people who didn't understand why people were supporting Palworld, a game that's simply based off of Pokemon and survival games and is completely different and unique, and we're not hyping up and praising a game that's literally just a cheap knockoff of a Nintendo game, Splatoon. You might be able to argue that some of the critiques I've had of Foamstars can also apply to Palworld, mainly the design, again, right? The design of Foamstars is simply just not unique. The design of Palworld is also not unique, and a lot of the design is copied from Pokemon. That's true, that's fair, that's a fair criticism. However, it doesn't really matter. The gameplay itself is unique enough for Palworld to stand on its own, and a lot of the designs they have are unique and not copied from Pokemon. Also, none of the gameplay footage in this video is mine. I'm not able to record my Switch on my PC, and I don't have a PS5, nor do I want to buy a PS5, and especially not Foamstars, in order to record the game. So I'll post right now on screen where I got the footage, and you can find those channels in the link in the description. So yeah, anyway boys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.